Yo, what's up everybody? I'm back today with a quick video specifically featuring my Jackery 300. Now some quick backstory about this gig. Before the gig, I had asked the client specifically if there would be power for me to plug into because we'd be outdoors. They said yes. Now in my past experiences DJing out in fields, I always know that either there's not going to be power or the power is going to be somewhere really far away. Now on the day of the event, I got there, the client comes up to me and she tells me, hey, actually, sorry, there's no power. Is that going to be a problem for you? I kind of laughed inside because honestly, that would be a huge problem. But thankfully, I had my Jackery 300 with me. I was able to modify my setup so that it could be used with that Jackery and last for about 3 to 4 hours, which was the duration of the entire gig. Now this gig I had was kind of a throwback gig for me because the setup I used was exactly the same as when I first started DJing. I had my laptop, a basic controller with RCA outputs, and I plugged this directly into one speaker. Also, unfortunately, I was in the direct sunlight, as you can see, so this really put my system to the test. I had my laptop plugged in directly to my Rev 1, and you can see I had these RCA to XLR outputs. I had 2 of them, but only needed 1. I also had my mic plugged in directly to my Rev 1, and then I used that Phoenix PTU-X to give me a little bit of wireless flexibility. Now everything was powered by my Jackery 300, and the speaker I used was the RCF HDM45. Now I had 1 because when I started the gig, I tried powering 2, but unfortunately it was too much for the Jackery 300. So I kind of realized that the maximum that this thing can power with loud music is going to be 1 speaker. You can see the speakers drawing about 37 watts right now, and I have the volume at about 75% on my controller. There's my extra speaker, and like I said before, I had tried running 2 speakers, but unfortunately that was just taking too much wattage. Basically, anytime the bass would hit, the wattage would exceed 300 watts, and the Jackery would just shut off. So I learned quickly that I could only use 1 speaker at this gig. So if you're looking for a Jackery that can power 2 speakers, playing loud music with bass that you can dance to, I'd recommend getting a larger wattage Jackery. There are a ton of other options out there. But if you're just trying to use 1 speaker, ceremony, cocktail hour, 300 watts is gonna work great, and I'll show you my results here next. So I started this gig at about 3:45 p.m. with 100% battery. Now we're at 5:39, and you can also see that I'm charging my laptop as well in addition to powering the speaker. So charging the laptop is gonna take about 60 watts of power, in addition to the 40 watts that on a regular basis that speaker was taking for most music. Now the thing to keep in mind though is when the bass hits, or if you're playing a really loud song with strong bass, the wattage that the speaker is taking will jump into the hundreds. So you have to leave yourself some headroom, especially because the max for this Jackery is just 300 watts. I charged my laptop for about 20 minutes, and then once I had enough battery to complete the gig, I unplugged it, and now we're back to the Jackery just powering the single speaker. Now that 20 minutes of 60 wattage did drop the battery down to 47%. So if I had to keep charging my laptop, I don't know if I'd be able to make it to the end of the gig. Thankfully, I've got a good battery on my laptop, and I didn't have to plug it back in for the rest of the gig. I just had to make it to 7 p.m. when this gig was going to end. So in summary, my Jackery 300 was able to power 1 RCF HDM45 for about 3 hours, charge my laptop for about 20 to 25 minutes. I was playing loud music that was almost at the clipping level for the RCF HDM45. It had a lot of bass as well, so I was really happy with the result for 1 speaker. I didn't take a video of it, but when I stopped the gig after 3 hours, I still had about 35% left on my Jackery, which I was really happy with. So in the end, I was really happy with how my Jackery 300 performed. If I was ever in a situation where I needed a full 2-top setup, I wanted to charge my laptop the entire time and had other things plugged in, I would probably opt for a stronger Jackery than the 300. But for 1 speaker setup, charging the laptop here and there, especially for something like a ceremony or a cocktail hour where you only need it for like an hour max, the Jackery 300 is a perfect choice for that situation. The nice thing about the Jackery is that you can use it to turn any speaker into a battery-powered speaker. On top of that, like I do at my ceremonies, you can also use it to power an external mixer or power wireless microphones. I'm also glad to know that, in case I just need to power 1 speaker, or there's an emergency, or I don't have access to power, like in this gig, I have the option to use my Jackery 300 and power that speaker for 3-4 hours maybe even more if I didn't have to charge my laptop in there. So I hope this video helps anyone wondering about the powers of the Jackery, wondering about the different watt models and which one's the best fit for them. Let me know in the comments section about your experience with the Jackery or any other portable power system, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.